All right. Okay, Deborah. How you see? I'm always amazed as to how there is 1 minute and 11 seconds when I hit the live button 5 seconds ago. Anyway, there you go, folks. It is Thursday. It is just gone 8:30. This is your weekly episode of Mauls, Balls, and All. Joining me now, we have three familiar faces, but I'll go through them. We have Matt Boland, who is a regular on Danny's show on Monday. The F-bomb Matt Boland, we might refer to him as. There you go. We have Dara Weston also with us, who is a regular here with us, and also returning to us. She is no stranger to us or this show. She is a Kiwi fan. She's a Crusaders fan. She's extremely knowledgeable. She knows what the hell she is talking about, folks. It is Zakaia. I'm going to say C because I'm not going to butcher your surname, Zakaia. I know you told me how to pronounce it in the past, but I've forgotten. Zakaia, how the hell are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I've only told you about 5 times, so I know.
You have.
Learning curve. No,
Listen,
hello all the way from New Zealand.
Hello from the future. That's what you should be saying.
Yes, exactly.
What ungodly time of the day is it? And what day is it where you are, Zakaia?
So it's 7:31 a.m. on Friday, the 25th of July. So it is the future.
It is the future. Jesus H. Christ. Okay.
Give us a lot of will you?
Yeah, give us a lot of numbers. Yes, yeah, exactly. Yes.
Jesus.
Anyway, are we all well?
We might give her a couple of minutes to let it sink in. It was 7:30 in the morning as well.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Now we might have the arrival of James Grennan. I sent him an invite. He said he would join us, but we shall wait and see. Okay. Okay. Before we start, are we all well in ourselves? Are we all well in ourselves?
Last minute jokes.
No, we don't. No. Are we all good? Yeah. Okay. You're all good. Okay. Zakaia, ladies first. What I want to talk about or ask you, Zakaia, is I don't think this was on the list. Actually, it wasn't on the list, but it just came up today. I'd be interested to hear your opinion on this. Gary Ringrose ruled himself out of contention, which I thought was really interesting because it's not something a player would normally do. It'd normally be a medic or a doctor or whatever, or coach or whatever it was. And I said, 1 second now, Zakaia, because I just want to read something here to you. A regular viewer, Bev Anne Marie Burke, she made a very, very good point. And I'd like everyone to just think about this with the whole Gary Ringrose thing, ruling himself out, and then what Bev Anne Marie has said here. And I'll read it. I might not read all of it, but just you'll get the point. She said, and I quote, "With Ringrose stepping back due to his health, this is a time that World Rugby," I'm going to hold it up here so my cap isn't doing that, bending me down. World Rugby needs to look at player welfare more. For example, the Leinster players who play international and provincial rugby were made to work right up until the final of the URC, and then the one selected for the Lions got sent straight out to do pre-match training. Same with Premiership, as well as players are being worked to the bone. The bodies are given up on them. Now, it goes on, but Zakaia, your thoughts on all this, the health and welfare of players?
No, I think that's absolutely a pertinent comment. And of course, one that rings very loudly for us here in New Zealand because of the French tour. So many players being made unavailable because of their commitment to the top 14. But I wouldn't have thought I thought the top 14 was the most rigorous.
Yes.
Like competition, domestic competition that there is. And also, don't they have the most amount of rounds as well?
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess even though we were disappointed, and I do want to say that I think a lot of the stuff that came out of New Zealand about that, it wasn't. I think it was based on disappointment, because if We may as well be on the moon here in New Zealand. You know, the distance is just so huge. So for most New Zealanders to see some of those top French players, this is the only chance they're ever going to get in these tours and this window, this international window we've just had. So by those players not coming out, it's really disappointing, you know, not to see those stars of French rugby. So I think but you know, that's on one hand from the fans' perspective, but on the other hand, you know, the players do have to be protected. There should be, you know, they play a certain amount of games and then they have to have a rest. I know that the All Blacks do that, or in New Zealand rugby does that with the super franchises, and you know, from what I gather, it really irks the hell out of the, you know, it's hard for the coaches of the super franchises because suddenly, you know, oh my God, you know, it's a rest day for this player and all the rest of it. But obviously it's so necessary. And then you get somebody like Ma'anonu. I mean, how old is he? And he's still playing.
42. He's 42. He's 42, isn't he? Or 41
something
or
like
42.
that. Yeah, and he's still
Yeah,
going strong. And I don't think they had the same type of protection when he was playing that they do now. So I mean, you know, it's an interesting one. That's certainly the case. You could argue, is there too much cotton wool around our stars these days? Are we protecting them too much? I don't know. You know, because the game's changed, hasn't it? If you watch a game from the 70s, was it?
Well, I tell you what,
wasn't faster back then, but was it tougher back then?
It was madness back then. I watched clips, Zakaia. I watched clips from the 80s when I played the game of Six Nations games from the 80s, and they were killing each other. You know, there was no, like, it was absolute bloody madness. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Zakaia, no, absolutely. Okay, excuse me. Matt Boland, your thoughts on this? The whole Gary Ringrose excusing himself from selection, which I thought was very admirable.
Oh, but, absolutely.
Yeah, and what Bevan said, what I read out, what Bevan posted in the group, that players are just being played to death, not literally, but you know what I mean. What do you reckon, Matt? Any? Go on. I won't go on.
Right. First of all, like you gotta say fair play to Gary Ringrose because what he did and his actions yesterday or today was a massive statement for not only for like world rugby, but for professional players, for amateur players, for kids, that if you're not right, don't play. It's only a game. And that was the message. And that's such a powerful message because, like, for him to play a game on Tuesday and come on so early because Darcy Graham got injured and then play nearly 80 minutes and then in training the following day noticed, shit, I've still got signs of concussion, and go straight to Andy Farrell and go, look, I'm not right. That's just incredible. And I think a lot of players should take a leaf out of Gary Ringrose's book now to go, well, if he can do it, that means any of us can do it. And, you know, like with all the concussion stories and the cases going to World Rugby of ex-players bringing legal proceedings against World Rugby in concussion, this is a massive step forward for pro players to go and take some of the claim on themselves, because it's not just health people or like doctors and medics that should be advising players not to play. It's players themselves. They need to take the onus on themselves to go, no, I'm actually not right. I don't feel right. I shouldn't play. And I
agree with you, Matt. I absolutely agree with you. But should that not have been a medic thing and not a player thing?
But you see, the thing is, right? He was past clear to play.
This is the problem
on Tuesday. So he played the match, but then obviously he had a recurrence during the match that only showed signs the next day, because concussion is silent sometimes. And
see, that's the issue, isn't it? Concussion is so difficult to pinpoint.
Exactly. So he played that match, probably at some point or another got a slight knock to the head, but only realized it the next day. But as soon as he realized that it came forward in his mind, he said, no, hang on, I have to stop. And that's what the message is, you know.
Okay.
Absolutely. But doesn't it make you wonder, or doesn't it make you question how many players, when they go through the protocols and they miss a game, how many of them are coming back too early? as well.
Yes, that's a great point.
I think that opens that door, but again, it's a really difficult one because the doctors are doing their best, obviously, but there's so much that's still unknown about that whole issue, isn't there?
Yes,
and maybe players just think, oh, I've just got a little bit of a headache. I was up late last night.
Exactly.
So that's it. I mean, maybe they don't see the signs. But going back to the 70s and 80s, all those, he's a hard man. He played with a broken leg and all that kind of stuff.
No, but who? No, I'm not being rude. I'm not speaking out of turn. There you go. That's all that needs to be said. Go on, Matt. Go on. You explain. Go on.
I think I know exactly what you're saying. You were talking
about
who ripped his ball sack on a pitch and then got picked up at halftime and went back on and played.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, folks. We have to say hello to a few people who are watching. We have Bev Anne-Marie, who I quoted her post there at the start.
We also need to say goodbye to Dara Weston.
Why?
Because he's gone.
No, I know he's gone, but he's not coming back in. He normally does this. Luke Conway, evening lads. Gregor Galway, evening all. Christopher Goff, good evening all. Hi, Christopher. L. Willoughby, evening chaps and everyone. Okay, let me just hold on. I just want to hide that. Okay, right, there we go. Dara Weston, if you're listening, could you come back on, please? I know you fell off there. All right, okay. Zakaia, your overall thoughts. Now, I'm looking at the results. I'm looking at the tour games. Now, yeah, there you go. Heavy sigh. I know. Right. I'm looking at the tour games. I'm looking at the results. I'm looking at last week's first test. We are looking forward to the second test, and then we have obviously the final test in a week or two, whatever the fuck it is. How, Zakaia, do you think? Are you happy with the whole overall with this Lions tour so far? I tell you what, I'm not. Go on.
Well, I'm always going to be on a different side, side of the debate than you find, gentlemen, aren't I? Being a Southern Hemisphere person, I was really hoping Australia would win that first one, just because I thought that was probably the not the easiest, but the biggest chance of getting a win would have been that first test. I didn't see the match because I was halfway between Dubai and Auckland. But from what I've read about it, Australia, they were lacking. And that saddens me because they've been building so nicely. And, and I think, I've said before that they had such a good Super Rugby season this last time. The Australian teams did really well, so I was hoping that would come through. Now, I was pleasantly surprised or delighted with the last match, with the Pacifica First Nations match. I thought that they really, really, did a good job.
Yeah.
Well, as far as results go, as far as getting closer on the scoreboard, I mean, oh, God, because the game before, we thought that the Anzacs would do much better than they did. As I said before we went live, I think there might have been a little bit rugby perhaps wasn't the focus to the build-up of that.
Hold on. Zakaia, to just hold on now. Hold on 1 second. Right. So, there's been 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. What is it? 6 tour games, 1 test. Right. The Lions lost the first one in the Aviva against Argentina. Right.
Yes.
Okay. But they haven't. Is
that counted? Is that counted as part of the tour?
The purest.
The clean sweep.
No. The purists will, Zakaia, yes, the purists will count that in the results. Okay, so they've lost one. And they've won 5 or 6 or whatever the hell it is. But it really, and Matt, I'll ask you the same question. But Zakaia, it really hasn't been an overwhelmingly enjoyable I've got to watch it. Glued to your TV screen tour. So far, Zakaia, go on.
I don't think the rugby's really been anything to write home about, the rugby itself. There's been some really nice performances, obviously, some people have, had really good games, but overall, I mean, I think that for us, the most enjoyment is the tour itself, is the army, the Red Army that follows the team, and the fact that everybody gets into it. I think it's the tradition, it's all those other aspects that sell the tour for us, because of course, we have to wait every 12 years to get one of these in our countries. So I think that aspect of it, I mean, like let's hope that's never lost, because it's just it's an absolutely beautiful thing. As far as the rugby goes, again, it's just such a shame. I'm very surprised that not one franchise won a game. I really thought the Brumbies would have taken one home, because again, there's such a tight unit as far as a team goes. So I've been, I've been a little bit saddened by the rugby myself. To be honest, I thought some of the under-20s games were more exciting.
Well, I would not blame you. I would not blame you, Matt. Your thoughts? Like, would you share my opinions that this whole Lions tour, it's kind of, will I risk saying it? It's actually boring, Matt.
Well, look, I'm not going to say it's boring, because I'm looking at it from the whole thing, like
all right,
the whole getting 40,000 people down there covered in red, taking over cities and having the best crack ever. In terms of the rugby, it's been probably slightly underwhelming. Some of the results have just been, oh Jesus, just stop it at 60 minutes and we'll just go on to the next game.
Yes.
So, whereas I know Australia have been struggling kind of on an international basis for the last couple of years, but it looked like they were just kind of peaking at a good time. They seemed to be kind of getting good results, and it seemed to be like I was hoping that it was just they were coming to a good patch where they were going to hit and kind of meet the Lions and really give them a tough game and maybe even snatch a win somewhere, but it just fizzled out. And that first test, the game was over at halftime, and even though Australia came out in the second half and they scored 2 late tries, it kind of flattered the scoreboard a bit. But that game was really done at 30, 35, 40 minutes, and
yeah.
You could just see the team when the changes were made in the second half. It just couldn't nullify it all going forward ball, and they just defended and just saw the game out, which is not what you want. It would have been better if Australia had to come out all guns blazing in the second half, got two early tries in the second half, and then gave the Lions something to think about halfway through the second half. But
is it going to be a repeat of stuff on Saturday? This.
Let me get out my crystal ball, because if I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't be betting on the fucking rugby game. I'd be going straight to the bookie or the lotto depot and getting a ticket. But look, it could go either way. I'm really hoping that Australia, with the bolster squad now with Valentini and Will Skelton back,
we're coming on to that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm hoping Australia give us a bit of a game on Saturday.
Absolutely, I would totally agree, Matt. Yes. Okay, Dara Weston, who was with us, but unfortunately has lost his Wi-Fi, his broadcast Wi-Fi. But he says, which is better, a boring tour to Oz or an insufferably annoying tour of South Africa? At least in New Zealand, you're never too far from a vineyard to make the rugby more entertaining.
I just want to say Dara is my new favourite person.
No, don't
tell him that he'll have a big head.
No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Okay, so overall, are we kind of going, yeah, good Lions tour, or kind of,
Well, let's face it, in the history books, it doesn't matter if the games were boring or the games were exciting. All that matters is the results. So in the history books, it's going to end up being, being a big tick for the Lions, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to.
I know, but sorry, go on, Matthew.
As Zakaia was saying, like in 20 years' time, people are going to be looking back at the results of the 2025 Lions tour and going, Jesus, the Lions were brilliant that year. They fucking slaughtered everyone. Do you know what I mean?
I know, but if you're going to spend 20 grand to go to a bloody Lions tour, if you're living in Europe,
if I was spending 20 grand to go down to Australia and have a Lions tour, I'm going to be drinking a hell of a lot, and every fucking single game of rugby is going to be fucking brilliant because I'll be pissed out of my fucking brains.
All right,
and it's the camaraderie. It's not just the rugby you go for, is it? I mean, it's all aspects. It's the camaraderie. It's the it's just I think the rugby's as part of it.
And that's the thing. Rugby is only a part of the whole overall experience because you're traveling all the way down. You're mingling with like the Aussie fans or the New Zealand fans, and you're getting to know them, and you're having the crack, and then you see like some of the lads were at the MCG watching Aussie rules football. So you go and see the local stuff. Like if I was going to a tour in New Zealand, I'd be trying to get a local rugby game somewhere as well, and you're getting to know other fans from halfway across the world, and you're having drinks, and then you're going to games. And like I'd say if you're there, it's the best crack ever. From us sitting at home, it's different.
Okay.
Because it's those anecdotes that you bring back with you and that you remember for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Didn't you meet our colleague Claire Devaney, Zakaia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we caught up in Abu Dhabi. No, in Dubai. Yeah.
There you go. That's it. Okay. We have Mike Sheedy. One Irish player standout on the Lions tour is Tyke Byrne. Great games, man of the match, and he gets better every game. Yeah. Okay. Actually, Zakaia, there's one for you. One line, if you have one in your head, that has so far had a good tournament. Now, I will preempt your answer with some of the answers have been Ellis Genge, Tyke Byrne, as mentioned on Mike Sheedy's comment there, Dan Sheehan. So any player, Zakaia, that you've said, oh, Jesus, he's having a good tournament?
Well, it's quite funny because when I'm thinking of the players that have stood out for me, it's not because of the rugby; it's because of the controversy that's followed them. If you think of
go on.
Poor Maro and everything that all of the criticism he got for being named captain to begin with. And then you think of the son apparent, the heir apparent, being called in late, and everything that's brought about, and maybe that's indicative of the type of tour it is, that we've been more focused on those kinds of things than perhaps the rugby.
Well, come here. Okay, hold on a second. Zakaia, now, do you think Maro Itoje is having a good tour?
No, he's sort of been missing in action, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's fucking shite. Okay, fair play.
And I don't think that a captain necessarily needs to be overly talkative or be really really gobby or anything, because I mean if you think of our boy McCaw, he wasn't a big talker, but they've got to lead by example, don't they? They've got to be right out in front and lead like that. And I think that he has gone a little bit MIA. But I think, there's been some nice performances from different players, but also, but none. I mean, if I'm thinking of the games that I've seen, there's again slightly underwhelmed. There's nobody that I've sort of thought, wow, this has been his tour of his lifetime type of thing.
Yeah.
But if I think of the France's recent tour of New Zealand, and his name escapes me, but the wing, he was fullback for the first test and then he went on to the wing. That young guy, boy, I'm going to be following him for the rest of my days. I mean, I just thought he was amazing.
I know. Yeah. What's his name? What's his name? I know exactly who you're talking about. I know who
you're talking about.
Yes, but just God, what a player! And this was a player I really didn't know, but don't know his name, but I recognise him.
Yeah.
But just a fair, and every match, his performance was just stunning. And
Villiers.
there's been
there you go. Did you hear that,
Villiers.
Zakaia?
But yeah. But there's just been nobody that stood out like that in the Lions tour for me.
But so is it a bit of a kind of like I'm trying to? Someone said to me he's involved in St Mary's rugby, heavily involved in St Mary's rugby, which Zakaia is a big kind of a school AIL club here in Ireland,
Right.
St Mary's. He was just saying to me that he's losing interest in this particular Lions tour because there's just nothing. Fucking come on! Like there's just nothing exciting about it, as opposed to previous tours.
Yeah, but I mean, is it because of, unfortunately, the state of rugby in Australia? I mean, I think all of us were hoping that the tour would be more exciting just because of the fact that Australia has been slowly building. And I just think that, that if the games were tighter, if there'd been a couple of losses, and if we were sitting on the edge of our seat because they were really bringing it, we'd have a different feeling about it completely. Like I don't remember people. I don't remember having the same sort of degree of apathy when like the last tour to South Africa, because it was sort of edge of the seat stuff, wasn't it? And then there was all the controversy that followed that tour as well. But even the 2017 tour to New Zealand, it was 1-1 going into the last test, wasn't it? So you've automatically set up a really exciting last match.
So okay, so I said to a colleague of mine, Zakaia, actually, we all know, Joe Shep. I said it would be better if Australia win the test on Saturday, so it's 1-1. If the Lions win on Saturday, it's going to be the third test is just going to just go. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
That's a dead rubber,
Australia can't win it. So, what would you be? Would you be arse watching the bloody thing? So, Matt Boland, I know we've spoken about this before, but your kind of thoughts on this, like, I remember the excitement about previous Lions tours. This one just doesn't have it for me. It just doesn't have it. It's I don't know what it is. Matt, go on.
Yeah, well, look, I can see why, because like the results haven't been spectacular enough to keep the interest of fans going. Oh, I can't wait for this game now this weekend because it's going to be so tight, and I don't know, I can't call a winner, and it could be either way. Whereas most people, like even pro rugby players and people watching from their couches, are all kind of saying well before the tour started that it was going to be 3-0 to the Lions. Now, I hope that doesn't happen because, like, if Australia win this test on Saturday, then it's as if like they've kept the best to last, and they've been just kind of clinging on to the fans to get them to this point to go, right, well, now it's 1-1. Now we've a proper game in the last test, and it's winner takes all. Like, do you know what I mean? Whereas,
yeah.
And I really think I really like I don't want the Lions to lose, obviously, but I think it'd be better for the game, not only for Australia but for people watching as well, because there'll be no interest in that third test if it's 2-0 already going into it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, true. Okay.
Well, I don't know about that. When we've beaten the Lions 3-0, the third test was, we still like the third test.
Well, all right, fair enough.
So I don't know. I mean, so it depends which side you're on, doesn't it? I mean, I think that if you're 2-0 up, you still, because then you think, okay, we want to go for do a clean sweep. So I think there's still excitement there. For the team that's 2-0 down, it's a little bit, oh no, type of thing.
Exactly. That's
but maybe Australia are just hoodwinking us all. Maybe they are saving it. They will, you know what, Australian athletes are just, I mean, they're so good, aren't they? You look at the Olympics, you look at their cricket, you look at everything. They're really competitive. So they're not going to lay down and die. They're going to come out absolutely fighting at the weekend. And I think that we will see a different Wallabies than we saw, or than you saw last weekend.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Well, I'll tell you why. I agree with you, Zakaia and Matt. Now, this is why the second test is going to be a completely different test, if you will, for the Lions, because there's 3 players coming back that weren't in the first test. You've Skelton, you've Valentini, and you've Gleeson. I think this next test is going to be massively different to the first one. Zakaia,
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Absolutely 100% agree. I think that, let's face it, it's a team sport. One person or 2 people shouldn't make a huge difference to a team of 23. However, I think that Valentini, he's one of my favourite Australian players anyway, because I think he brings more than just his rugby to the park. I think that he's, he plays with heart. He plays with, he puts everything out there. So I think that is that can bind a team, can't it? That can pick other people up to that same degree. But I was just reading in the chat what Dara said here about if the Lions win 3-0, will that almost feel like, that the Lions have killed Australian rugby? I don't think it will. I think I think that this Lions tour was built as, well, Rugby Australia was selling it as something, like this is the first step, and then it's the Rugby World Cup for us, and blah blah blah. This is what we need to start the resurgence of rugby in Australia. I think, all of us, obviously we're very sad. I remember the days of John Eales, those days when we didn't when it wasn't a foregone conclusion that we were going to get the Bledisloe Cup every year type of thing. You watch, we'll lose it this year now. That they really, that every game we didn't know who was going to win. And I think that we all want to see Australia back to that type of degree, the same as we want to see Wales back playing really good rugby. It's not, I think as proper rugby people, we don't like to see any team struggling. We like to see our own team winning, but we don't like to see teams go through this type of I guess, of struggle, of downturn.
No. I know exactly what you mean and the point you make. Listen, I agree with you. But then, Zakaia, Ireland, we went through decades of winning nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And
it's only
not even not winning, but getting fucking spanked.
Yes, there you go. So like there is, I know the point you're making, Zakaia, and I agree with it, but there are peaks and troughs all the time. This sort of thing,
absolutely.
Is cyclical.
Absolutely. Look at the All Blacks. Look at the struggles that we've been going through. Okay, for us, and it's been hard to see the team not play to our level of expectations as All Black fans. However, if you think of what we've been going through, it just doesn't compare to what Australia's been going through. Now, I think a lot of the blame has to be laid at the feet of Rugby Australia. They've kept the game so insular. They let rugby league go into the inner city schools and get those, those young players and sign them up and get them involved in league, as opposed to rugby going out and actively, getting the youngsters involved. So they've really missed a trick there. So I think a lot of the problems are, like within the union itself. However, that doesn't that doesn't stop us lamenting the days when they were so strong, and they had, some of the best names of rugby. That there'll be Australian names that come up.
Oh, sure. Look here. Come here. We had David Campese on this show before.
Yes, absolutely.
I remember Michael Lina. I remember Nick Farr-Jones.
Tim Horan.
Tim
John
Horan.
Eales, who was always a favourite of mine.
John
There's been
Eales,
some incredible players. So, and I think that they've still got some. If you look at their team, they've still got some really, really good players. For some reason, though, they're just not gelling. And of course, they've had some terrible luck at first 5/8, haven't they?
Yes. Now, come here.
Injured.
I'll tell you, Zakaia, is Joe Schmidt. Sorry, Matt, I'll come to you now. Just 1 second now. We're going down a rabbit hole here now with Zakaia. Zakaia, is Joe Schmidt the man for the job?
Well, yes, I believe he is. I think that Joe Schmidt, he's isn't he a school teacher by trade? Wasn't that how?
He is, and he's a world-class coach, but is he the right guy for Australia?
Well, I think that he's really good for going in and building that culture and really getting things, regimented within a team, getting those, what's the word? Getting the culture where it needs to be as far as discipline and everything like that goes. I think that all coaches have their use by date with a team. I think that coaches come in, they do what they need to do, but then they need to move on because they've brought everything that they can bring to a team. I don't think Joe's there yet with the Wallabies because I think that there's still things that need to be done with them. Look, I don't know what it is that's missing. As I said, after Super Rugby this last season, I had huge expectations for the Wallabies. You watch, they'll turn around and they'll beat the All Blacks after this. You
never know. You never know. Okay.
Because I still believe that they've got good players there. They've got the ability to beat anybody on their day when they click, but we just haven't seen that happen.
I have no doubt about that. Zakaia, I would absolutely agree with that. Yes. Okay. A few comments, Matt, before I come for your ask you for your opinion on this. Dara Weston, McCaw wasn't a big talker unless you include talking to the refs. Good man, Dara.
Which is the captain's role.
Is exactly. Shirley Thornton. Hi, Shirley. If we were losing, would you be happy if Australia declined in rugby? Has that created enough fight? Sadly. Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. Brian Core. It's not easy to pull players together and get them playing free-flowing competitive rugby, even when players are individually excellent. Yes. Good point, Brian. Yes. The mixed Australian-New Zealand team highlighted that with their 0 result.
I don't know about you guys, but I was shocked. I was shocked at that match. I
think we all were.
I think we all were.
I expected it to be a lot more fight.
Yes, absolutely. No, I agree with you, Zakaia. Yes. Dara Weston, how you all been? The Lions went down to Oz to try and revive Aussie rugby as Union is dying fast down there. Yes, it is. If we beat them 3-0,
the real reason they went down, or is it the reason they went down? It was Australia's turn.
I don't know. I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer. I don't know. I haven't a clue. Dara Weston again. Key problem with Australia is that Union is becoming less and less popular as it's ranked 5th now behind AFL, League, Soccer, Cricket, Tiddlywink, and God knows what else. Good man, Dara. Okay, Brian Core.
But
no problem.
With that last one, rugby has always, fought against AFL and League. It always has, but and even in the days of Eels and all the rest of it, when a team is winning, it gathers momentum because people are suddenly interested in the team. If Australia had won that first test, more Australians would be probably into the next test type of thing. it's hard to follow, teams that are struggling, teams that are losing, isn't it? So, that takes real diehard fans. You're not going to get new fans unless you're playing at a certain level. So I think that's never going to change in Australia. AFL is always going to be more popular in certain states. League is going to be more popular in certain states. What Rugby Australia has to work on is how to bring rugby up through the ranks and not take over these other two codes, but to survive alongside it.
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to ask you your opinion on all of what we just said. But Zakaia, one point, when we had David Campese on here, he said to me, Peter, I could walk down the main street. I've said this before. He said, I could walk down the main street in Brisbane or Sydney or whatever it was, and no one would know who he was. And I said, David, you could walk down O'Connell Street or Grafton Street, and I guarantee you, people would know who you were. I think that's it's kind of a sad indictment.
No, it is. It's very sad, isn't it? Because it's same. He could walk down any street in New Zealand and people would know what who he is, and probably abuse him. But because we've got long memories.
I know.
That is sad, but that's the reality, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Okay, Matt.
That's got nothing to do with the players. It's all about the management, isn't it?
True. Okay, Matt Boland, your thoughts on all of what we just spoke about. Throw out your opinions there. Go on.
Well, look, I mean, like there's a lot there, obviously.
Yes, there is.
A couple of points. Like Richie McCaw didn't have to do talking on the pitch or talking to refs or off the pitch because he did all his talking on the pitch. What else was there? Let me see.
Go on, there's loads. Go on.
I really agree with Zakaia there because like we don't want like Australia being poor at rugby just as much as we don't want Wales being poor in the Six Nations, because it's just not good for A, the fans, or B, the players. Like, cast your mind back to, and you said this before, we were shit. We couldn't have bought a win anywhere, and we could have only dreamed of ever beating the All Blacks in 61 years. And that one time we came close, where we all got really too excited. At halftime, we were going, Jesus, we're actually going to beat the All Blacks.
2013.
Yes, I was at it.
We were up 22-7 going, fucking happy days. We've finally done it. And then the killer blow, they fucking beat us 24-22. And it was as if, like, shit, it's never going to happen. But then you progress on a couple of years later, and then we end up bloody winning a tour down in New Zealand, which we never would have thought we could ever do. So in terms of Australia, like, it's not good for them to be poor. And even if the Lions do beat them 3-0, I don't think that's going to be the nails in the coffin for Australian rugby, because they're going to take that and they're going to fucking remember that, and then they're going to get better. And like, they are building slowly, but like,
definitely
they're never they'll never let that down. They'll never forget it, and they'll never want to let it happen again. So they'll only get better, and
all right.
For me, like, it's more respectable if there's a bit more competitiveness in a game where you don't know who's going to win or not, so
I really hope, Matt, and I alluded to this in our chat group, I really hope Australia win on Saturday to make this.
Yeah, look, there's parts of me there's parts of me that want the Lions to win, obviously, because I'm a Lions fan. But there's part of me that really wants Australia to win, to make this more competitive, to push it out to the last week, to go, we both have the chance to win. Now, who's going to fucking do the talking and get the job done? Like, that would be perfect.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. There was a post in our group, Zakaia and Matt. I'd love to hear your opinions on this, and I'll read it. I'll go through it as quickly as I can. It was by one of our members, Eamon Holden. He said, I've been listening to a number of podcasts and commentators since the Lions win over Australia. For some of the criticism, you swear that this was the Six Nations or the World Cup, not a tour to promote interest in rugby in Australia. I would have a different attitude if it were New Zealand or South Africa, where the game is in a strong position. But knocking the lines for not posting a cricket score, surely it's in the best interest of the sport in Australia to keep this series close. Or is it now all about the cream of the four nations hammering a country in which the sport is struggling? Zakaia, I think we kind of covered that, really.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And it's like a comment that was written here. Would we be happy if they were losing or whatever? It just seems that some pundits in that, it doesn't matter what the result is. There's always going to be criticism, isn't there? They didn't play well enough, or this person didn't play well enough, or sometimes they're nicer when a team loses because at least they tried, or they saw its best foot forward. I don't know. I mean, is that just indicative of where we are at a sport? I don't. All I know is, like, when the ABs have beaten a team, by a huge margin, they get criticised for that. How is that building rugby in that country and blah blah blah. So it just seems to me, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth there, Zakaia. Matt Boland, what about that? Look, are we not happy? So go on, Matt. Yeah.
You're never going to please everybody, and this is just the one thing in life. Everybody has their opinion, and not everybody's opinion is going to match other people's opinions. And if you go back 20 years in time, there was no social media and there was no immediate access to online forums and newsletters and agencies and all this. And people at home that had a bad opinion couldn't fucking do anything about it. But now it's just easy for people just to go onto their little keyboard and go, you are fucking shit in that fucking game. You are crap. You're a bollocks. You're a prick. And that's not good either, because it doesn't matter. Like, if you're out putting your body and mind on the line in a game of rugby, you're inevitably you're human. You're inevitably going to do something wrong, or you're going to, like, nobody ever has a 100% perfect game of rugby. And no one ever will, whether you're pro, whether you're semi-pro, whether you're a kid, or whether you're like a little mini toddler running around playing rugby. Do you know what I mean? They're not perfect.
I was going to say second test in 2005. Dan Carter.
I'm talking about us up here in the northern hemisphere.
Yes, northern. Yeah, okay.
No, you're right.
You're not going to please everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never will. You're right, Matt. Okay, the fourth Earl of Tallaght, James Eric Henry McCorkle. I was at Lansdowne Road in 1991, Ireland 18, Australia 19. The Lions.
I was there too.
I wasn't. Dara Weston, watching the Saffas celebrating their wins over Italy and Georgia. Does it reveal an absence of killer instinct in Northern Hemisphere rugby that we're almost embarrassed that we've run away with it? I know, yeah. Go on. Anyone?
Well, I don't think it shows an absence of killer instinct. I mean, I think that it shows a humanity almost. It shows. I actually think that's what rugby is about. That we want it competitive. That we don't want to see teams struggling. To me, that shows respect. And I think that, that's one of the things I love about rugby, is that the inbuilt respect of the sport itself, not of the Facebook groups, of the sport, and I think that's what, to me, that's rugby.
Yeah.
Not beating teams by 100 points or we don't want to see that. We want to see the minnow teams coming through and doing well. I mean, aren't we all really, really happy for the likes of Portugal and what they've been achieving, in sevens and all the rest of it? We like to see teams building. We like to see countries getting stronger.
Well, come here to me then, Zakaia. I'm going to ask you now, this was on the list. Would you have, or what would your opinion be of a Lions tour to South America or France?
Yeah, look, I think that the the Lions have played Argentina on and off for, quite a few years, haven't they? I think that it should be built in. I don't know whether that means taking them the team to South America, because I mean, we have to wait 12 years as it is. It's a long time to wait for for such a cool thing to happen. But there's no reason why they can't be involved. Like, why not build, that like the first test that they played against Los Pumas? Why can't that happen for every tour? Like maybe play
a very good point. A very good
the first
point,
test, but not have Argentina travel to Ireland or or somewhere. Have it in the country that they're going to. It's easier for Argentina to come to one of the southern, we're all southern hemisphere, aren't we? It's easier for them to travel to Australia or to New Zealand or to Australia or to South Africa than it is for them to travel up to Ireland. So most definitely. But I would also I just personally hope that the Anzac thing, happens again, when the next time the Lions comes to New Zealand, that we have another Anzac match, another Pacifica, Tangata Whenua match as well. I mean, I think that these should be part of it because it adds to the occasion, doesn't it?
But you see, Zakaia, the problem, I agree with you, but then the problem with this is, and I see it, I've spoken to people about this, is that if you're going to have it needs to be competitive.
No, absolutely.
Which it wasn't. And this
not at all. But you can't tell me that those guys, every single one of them, are a huge competitors, aren't they? You look at all those individual rugby players, huge competitors. You can't tell me if they were going to face the Lions next week, you can't tell me that they wouldn't do better.
No, true. No,
you know what I mean? They'll be mortified.
I do. You speak the truth. You speak the truth. No, you do. You're right. I agree. Yeah. Matt Boland, go on. A Lions tour to South America or France, as I've asked Zakaia. Go for
it. South America, yes. France, fucking hell no.
Why no? Why the objection to France?
Well, why go to France though? Why would we go to France?
Because go on.
No, but it's taken away from going down to the southern hemisphere.
Yes,
Like the whole Lions thing is to go out beyond our region and play in the southern hemisphere, right? So against Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. And I would be all for Argentina being part of that, but like as Zakaia says, you don't want to push it out every 16 years that they're going to each country. So I don't know. I'd much prefer to go to Argentina, because they've played them several times before, the Lions, or a Lions select team, and just think of okay, so the reason I'm dead set against France is because they don't need any injection of cash. The injection of cash is good now for Australia because it's actually going to put them in a much better financial place for rugby, for clubs, and that support sort of stuff. Couldn't you imagine what that would do in South America for the likes of not only Argentina, but for Uruguay, for Chile, for Peru, or any of them teams that have rugby teams? It'd be much better to go down there. And I can tell you, they would be much happier to see a Lions team come down because it put them up on the map as well. And they could play like local clubs in Argentina, but they could also get like the likes of Chile and the likes of Uruguay and play them in an international match as well. So
yeah,
I'd be
no. I sorry, Matt. I don't want to cut across. I'm just I'm Brian Core.
I was just going to say they've actually played Argentina, I think, 8 times in
there you go
in the past. 8 times they've played them. And so with that 8, I'm just looking at my stats here. Let me see. They'd won. So they've out of 8, they've won 6, drawn 1, and lost 1 against Argentina. Now, I always feel a little bit sorry for Argentina because also I think that they're neglected as far as world rugby goes, as far as tier 1 nations go. And we're bad for neglecting them in the southern hemisphere as well. When you think about the way that the other rugby championship countries, treat Argentina, I think, as the as the little brother, as the the team that makes up the numbers type of thing, and I think that needs to stop, because I think Argentina have almost become the new France, haven't they? That on their day they can beat anybody, but it's just consistency that they're struggling with a bit. As soon as they start to be as consistent as France, watch out, world, because
we had
brilliant.
Zakaia, we had, and Matt knows this. We had two greats of Argentinian rugby on the show last week or the week before. We had Les Cusworth, who was the ex-director of rugby for Argentina, and we had Marcelo Lafreda, ex-player.
That's the one you invite me to, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the one I didn't invite you to, yes. And they, the setup and the structures that Argentinian rugby have going on. And I agree with you, Zakaia. I can see it from what Les and Marcelo have told us. Argentinian rugby is going to improve and improve and improve. And it won't be long until they are winning major tournaments.
Absolutely.
From what they have said. Okay. Let me just...
But also, going back to that, I mean, we started the whole thing with talking about player welfare. How does adding more, tours to the Lions calendar or whatever? I mean, again, we all want to see really, we want to see more tests, we want to see more top line rugby, but something's got to give, because of course they've got their club commitments and everything, and the calendar year is only so long. That's never going to change. So where does it all fit in?
It doesn't, Zakaia. This is the problem. It doesn't fit in. You can have your man, who's he? He's married to some royal bird.
Mike Tyndall.
Mike Tyndall. He's doing this rugby or 365 thing. Ridiculous stuff. Absolutely. Tyndall, give it a rest, will you? Shut up. Stop going on about it. But now, let me just see here. Dara Weston is agreeing with you, Zakaia. I agree totally with Zakaia on the mutual respect that rugby always had, but then the Springboks and their success that they'll hold owner all of us without the traditional respect for opponents. The Babas game was a classic example, a team treated by other nations as an exhibition match, but the Saffas treated like a test match and slaughtered the Babas. All right. Go on. Go on.
I think that the Springboks, like all other teams, respect their opponents. I think their coaches. I think everybody within the organization is as respectful as other countries. I think
there's no crack, Zakaia. They've no fucking crack. There's no fun about them. You know what I mean? Like South Africa, there's no. You know what I mean? It's just they're too serious all the time. Fucking lads, relax the fuck.
Yeah, but I mean, goodness gracious, it's when you look at what they've achieved, because remember the struggles that they went through as well.
Yes.
And then they turned it around. Well, Russie turned it around because he changed the culture of the team. He came in and he really just he absolutely changed things, and he built that belief back within them. And maybe it's hard to have that type of belief within you and see enjoyment everywhere you look as well. No. There should be a balance. There should be a balance, true. But I mean, they've just gone from strength to strength, and I mean, there's no denying that where they are at the moment as far as world rugby goes. They're just playing superb rugby, and in so many different facets of the sport. They've just taken out the under-20s as well. So whatever they're doing right. I don't think that. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed with what happened in the last match with Italy. I think that just play the game the way it's supposed to be played. Go out there and beat teams on the same level.
Stop finding loopholes in fucking games.
No, exactly, because they don't need it. They do not need to go to those lengths. And I think that in a way it just brasses us all off, doesn't it? Because we know that they can beat them without those without flags and flashlights and all the rest of it.
Fair, actually,
isn't that Razzie? Sorry, Matt. Isn't that Razzie doing all that?
Yeah, well, Razzie's doing it on his team, but if a rugby ref came on and said, by the letter of the law, when you kick off at like a half or after somebody scored, and there's a player in front of you, it is technically a scrum to the opposite team. But if it's done on purpose, it should have been a penalty.
Yeah,
and that was done on purpose. So like if you're kicking off and one of your wingers accidentally mistimes his run, and the linesman calls it, then it's a scrum to the other team, which is fine. But if it's done purposely, and I think it absolutely was, it goes against the ethos of the game, and it should have been
absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Okay. We've one here from Dara Weston again. The Lions will only go to Argentina again. They did 3 tours before World War II. That is true. But World Rugby would massively push for getting the Lions down there if a match against the US was involved, as that's the promised land for World Rugby. Any chance to grow the rugby in the US is 100% encouraged by them. Okay, yes, absolutely. I've said it all the time. Come here, Zakaia. One thing I was looking at this, and then we'll go on to we're over the hour mark. Yeah, typical. We'll go on to the games coming up this weekend. But Zakaia, one thing I was looking at and that I don't like is the goal line dropout if you're held up. I prefer to go back to the 5 meter scrum. Go on.
Oh my God. I know. It's just maddening, isn't it?
Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me?
Oh, I hate to say it, but yeah, I do. No, I do. I don't like that at all. I don't think it's I just don't think it's helping the match, is it?
Yeah, true. Absolutely. Yeah. So would you go back to the 5 meter scrum, Zakaia?
Yes, I would. All
right. Okay. Matt, would you go back to the 5 meter scrum?
Yeah, well, like the annoying part of it is you got rewarded a few years ago for attacking a line, and when you get held up by really good defense, you were rewarded with your 5 meter scrum. So I don't understand why they have, or the World Rugby have changed it to go, well, the defending team deserve to get the ball back because they've defended better. So like realistically, like I can see both sides, because Nigel Owens made a good point, and this is what got me talking, because I was dead against it at the start, and Nigel Owens said, like, well, why should the defending team, when they put the effort in to stop you scoring, why should they get penalized then for having to go and try and defend again? And that's the way he put it, and I was like, okay, well that kind of makes sense as well. But
so what we need is the rugby equivalent of a toss-up in basketball. Which we don't have, do we? I mean, no. Maybe in the old days of scrums, when the ball was put in straight.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Both hookers had a good.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time, Zakaia, since the ball has been put in straight into a scrum. Now.
Oh my
God! It's never.
I miss
really
those days too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. All right, okay, folks, we're over the hour mark. There's 2 games on of interest this weekend. Win, lose, or draw. Zakaia. Second test. Australia are playing the Lions, as we have discussed. Give us your winner. Give us your score prediction. Whatever you want. Go ahead.
Look, I am going to go with the Wallabies, just because I feel that I just think that they're going to be, they're going to be so brassed off with so many things about this tour that they're going to come out absolutely fighting. And I think Valentini and Skelton, they're going to bring that, that what we call back home, that mongrel into the team that they need to really, really, take it to the Lions. So yeah, I'm going to definitely back the Lions. I'm definitely going to back the Wallabies over the Lions.
Right, go on. Give us a score prediction, Zakaia.
Oh, I hate that.
Go on.
Okay,
entertain me. Go on.
Okay, I don't think it's going to be a high scoring match. Perhaps something like let me see, something like 21-18 or something like that.
Right. Okay. ZC 21-18. Okay. Now, and the second game, Zakaia, is the South African women are playing the New Zealand women. Go ahead. Who's winning that?
Oh, I think it's going to be the Black Ferns.
Okay. Geez, you're very confident there now, Zakaia. There was no thought process there. Straight in.
Because I think that the South Africa, I mean, they will get there. Their women, they will definitely get there, but they just haven't had the support. They really, the support has been lacking. And I mean, I know that's something that's been lacking in all countries. I mean, we could all take a, take a leaf out of the, England and France, their playbook as far as women's rugby goes. But South Africa are behind most tier 1 nations when it comes to supporting their women. I think they've just started, and I think they'll get very good very quickly, but they're just not there yet. So I think it will be a win to the Black Ferns.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, thank you, Zakaia. Matt Boland, we discussed at length the lines, the second test. How do you see that going, Matt?
Okay, so I would love to see the Wallabies win, just to put it to a third test, but I think the Lions will win. And I'm going to go with a score of 36-24.
Okay. And the women, Matt, and then we landed on this because we're way over time. The South African women playing the New Zealand, the Black Ferns.
Oh, I'm going with the Black Ferns because I just will not support South Africa in any way, shape, or form.
If South Africa,
so we're the lesser of the two devils, are we?
No. I've always preferred the All Blacks. It doesn't matter whether they're men or women. So.
All right. Okay. All right, folks. Listen, that is all we have time for. We're way over time. My thanks are, as usual. Our thanks are to everyone who watched, who are watching, or who sent in, who posted comments. We can see them there. Also, my thanks to my colleague in this endeavour, Matt Boland, and also to the great and always interesting and great to chat with Zakaia C. I'm going to call you Zakaia. I'm not going to pronounce it. All right. Thank you very much, and listen, enjoy the rest of your evening or the rest of your day, Zakaia, because it's morning. It's morning where you are. So listen, enjoy it. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.